Hello, everyone. Charlie here, President of the United States Fitness Coalition. So, we have some pretty exciting news. A lot's happened in the last 24 to 48 hours. So, we'll go over what we just kind of found out today. And as of today, we know that on May 19th, in New York State, capacity restrictions are going to go away, in particular, in most small businesses, gyms being one of them. There will be certain requirements that you're going to have to meet. The governor did talk about the 6 foot rule and how that's going to play out. Mentioned things like for those who are vaccinated or have a negative PCR test. So that's going to be something that we'll follow up on and how we're going to be dealing with that, whether that's going to be through questionnaire or whatnot. But the bigger take is as of May 19th, capacity restrictions are going to be gone. So we'll be at 100%. On top of that, last week we had the pleasure of meeting with Senator Steve Stern, myself, and my co-chair, Stephen Stone. We met with him to discuss the GYMS Act, which we've been pushing along with IHRSA and the GYMS Coalition to get his support and help for co-sponsors. While we were having that meeting, we started to talk about a couple other things in New York State. This week, there'll be a bill that's going to be passed in New York State for small businesses and landlord relief. To give you the rundown of what is in the bill, as we don't know all the details yet because it hasn't been signed, it is $800 million in total for small businesses. Both the tenant and the landlord will be allowed to apply for the grant. And yes, it is a grant. In doing so, there are a couple of things. If the landlord takes the money, the landlord must agree to not raise rent for a year, and that money has to go towards that particular tenant's rent in the arrears. If a tenant takes the money, then the tenant must use it to pay back all their bills that are also in the rear. The landlord and the tenants would have to name each other. So I have to say specifically who my landlord is. The landlords would have to specifically say who their tenants are that were affected. As part of that grant process, evictions in the state of New York will be pushed until August 31st. Now, there is something that we should all be filing and filling out that's going to be required, and this needs to be sent to your landlords stating that you fell underneath hardship during 2020 and COVID. That is going to be needed. You're going to have that on file between yourself and the landlord in order for him or her, not to evict you or start eviction process. Now, as of May 1st, evictions could have started. This is going to be passed sometime within this week. If you receive that eviction notice and this bill gets passed, then that eviction notice would stop right there and gets pushed until August 31st. So this is some huge news here from New York State. Now, I understand $800 million. That's not going to save every business. It's not going to be on a first come, first serve. It's going to be an application process, but it'll help a lot. There are certain restrictions in it. Who can apply first, and things of that nature. But this is the first one of its kind that is actually going to go towards the landlords as well. And the bigger thing is it'll also push off those evictions until August 31st so that we can have time to apply for it, get it, and then renegotiate everything. Renegotiate the leases moving forward. And it gives us and the landlords a chance and an opportunity to work with one another so that we can get everything taken care of. And we now know as a business how we're going to move forward. And the landlord now knows how they're going to proceed. It also shows that, we've been doing everything that we could, and this is something that could work out for everybody. So this is some big news that may save a lot of businesses in New York State. Again, it's $800 million that's going to go to either the landlords or the tenants. I don't know how they're going to choose. I don't know how it's going to be regulated. I don't know if a landlord gets it over a tenant. I don't know if the tenant gets it over the landlord. Not every landlord's going to want to file for it, but every tenant's going to want to, and you're going to have to name your landlord. So I don't know how they're going to figure all that out, but I guess they will. So the form to send to the landlords, all USFC members, we're going to send that to you later on today or tomorrow so that you have that form. Get that signed and over to your landlords. All of our members, we will keep you up to date on all the details as they get released. We will also help you file and fill out any paperwork that's going to be required, or getting in touch with your landlords to see if they're going to be filing it and what's going to happen. We will have legal with us to kind of help everybody along the way. So for all United States Fitness Coalition members, you'll be receiving some information later on today, and then we'll keep you up to date. For everybody else, this is something that should be passed this week, as per Senator Steve Stern. We have had the opportunity to read 7 pages of the bill, or 8 pages of the bill, and what's in it. And it is $800 million that goes to the tenants and the landlords. It's for back rent, back bills, and that's something that's really big, guys. We're also continuing our push for the Gyms Act, which we still need everybody's help for. We'll have some pretty big announcements on that next week. We have a big meeting on Thursday that will be going over things where everything is progressing very fast. It looks like we're going to be hitting the signatures that are needed for co-sponsors. That is our direct bill for gyms. So keep on showing your support for your gyms. Support the United States Fitness Coalition and URSA and the Gyms Coalition, everybody around who's doing all the work to kind of make sure that we all can keep our doors open, guys. We need everybody here. All right, so that's some pretty big news that we got today. That's a lot between the capacity, new bill in New York State for $800 million to go to small businesses and landlords as far as relief goes, and our Gyms Act. All right, we'll keep you guys posted. Everybody enjoy your day. We'll see you soon.